We're back. I'm joined with Trevor and we're back on the bench. This week we're actually doing a what went wrong, something a bit different. It is a Holden Colorado. So it's basically the 2.8 litre range of the Holden Colorado, 6-speed. This is actually a 6L50 auto. We just commonly know it as the Colorado 6-speed auto. This one is going to be a bit of a technically challenged one. It's not going to be a big mess, things blowing up or anything like this. We're digging down and we're going up to something very, very specific here. The shudder. Anybody that holds, anybody that owns a Holden Colorado knows all about the torque converter shudder. This one is actually out of a car that is actually brought in, so it's actually, the car's just over there. This one's got 78,000 Ks on it. Yep. That's it. Bugger all. And it's actually very common to see these autos. I've had them at 30,000 Ks, 40,000 Ks. I mean, Holden's had them back under warranty years. You guys all know the stories. We're getting down into what the actual cause is. We think we know what the cause is. We're going after it. We're going to pull it apart. I'm not expecting much here in the way of clutches, but we don't know. We're going to get into it. So you can get into it, Trev.
Rip in.
So Trev's going to pull it apart. As he does, he'll hand me the bits. We'll go through each one of them. And we're going to get down to the valve body. And in particular, we're going to focus on the pump and see if we can't find out the problem. What causes the shudder, not just what the result is. Pop him over here. All right. So this is basically a combination. This is the brains, it's the valve body. It doesn't have all the valves in here. Normally in most cases, like what Toyotas and that, most of them have, or Fords, most of them have all the valves in the actual valve body. With these transmissions, there's actually very few valves in the valve body itself. The other half are actually inside the pump assembly, right? All the solenoids are actually inside the TACM setup. All the computer and the computer modules in here. So they actually, when we say, you ever heard the terminology where they say that the computer is inside the transmission? This is what we mean. On this particular model, the transmission computer is actually right here. It's actually built into it. Here's all the solenoids in here. It'll have like a basic lead frame, and the whole thing is molded in plastic as one. And then it's just bolted onto the valve body. Couple of sensors going on here, and that is basically the range sensor, or what we call it, neutral start switch, inhibitor switch.
Several names.
It's all in there. Put him aside. Now, unlike a lot of bell houses we see, Ford, Toyotas, and that, you undo the bell housing and it just comes off the back, straight off the auto. With this one, the pump assembly and everything is actually built in to the back of the bell housing. So a lot of channels and everything are actually all moulded in to the pump half itself. See, it's all part of the transmission. Well, it's quite an intricate setup. All the gears, I can take this apart.
Yeah,
you don't mind me taking this half apart?
No, yeah, cool.
And this is the other pump half. Now this has got like, how many valves I can see? Let me have a bit of a look here.
7.
I can see 1, 2, 3. Some of them are on top of each other as well. But there's a whole, that's what the filter. There's a whole heap, look, all in here. There's valves all in these ones and that. And this, when we get this apart, this will actually be the part that we're going to be focusing on, because we believe that the entire shudder problem, what we're looking for, is actually in this bit. So we'll have a look. All the rings on the back here, they all look perfect. No, they're all good. Movable, soft, bushes, thrust, everything's brand new. All right, put them in order. Take that off. They look very good. You think they look dark, but in actual fact, if I grab one of them, maybe I'll give one of them a bit of a wipe. When I do that, they're actually fine. If I get it in the light reflection. That one looks perfect. We go through and we check no dark spots, no hot spots, nowhere, everything is perfect. I will leave that one there. I will get the next one out. So they actually have clutches in multiple layers in these ones. It's quite common in most things now to have them. Next one. Oh, we've got some light frictions in these ones. But once again, that is certainly not the reason why she's in today. Everything looks perfect. And these black spots you're looking at here, I can actually, look, they just clean off. It's actually just a residue, and half of that, it explains cooler. It makes all the difference. It makes a massive difference. I can't emphasise it enough. Everybody thinks that a cooler is all about, oh, it stops it from overheating. No, it stops the oil from breaking down. It stops things from, the oil from basically breaking down into basic elements and all that as well.
And it's all rubber seals. Heat is important.
Well, yeah,
Heat
also
rubber.
the cycle of heat up and down is actually what makes rubber seals go hard. But these ones, you wouldn't think these ones would be hard. That's all fine. Not that. You can have that back.
Yep.
Spline's good, all the bushing's good, all the seals. These are the sealing rings. They're good. Planetary, I will take that out. Let's have a look at these gears. I wouldn't call them particularly big. Get to the back half. I'll be interested to see how big the back half ones are compared to the Ford Rangers
Quite big.
in comparison. But this looks, it's not just a matter of twisting. We're also checking, you know, the end clearance side to side, any diagonal twist in it. This all looks really good. Gears are perfect. Once again, wasn't really expecting a lot to go wrong here. Is there any more? One more clutch there.
Yeah.
I'm going to pop this one out while I'm holding the bottom of it together. That's a big circlet. You ready for it to go twing?
Do you want a bigger screwdriver?
No. I'm just trying to do. My wife says I can't multitask. Does your wives tell you can't multitask, Johnny?
My wife's the greatest.
Your wife?
Yeah.
What a sack.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So, you know, what are you going to say? You're going to say the thing? Come on.
No, I do no tasks apparently.
You're
Not the one, just none.
You just do none.
Just do none.
All right. This clutch is an interesting one. I love these ones. You'll notice, see how, look, friction. There's no steels. And you think, oh, they're all running on top of each other. But if I turn them over, they're all steels. No frictions. So it's incredible to see. It's not until you turn one over that you realise this lining's running on the back of this friction. And the reason why they do that, they can actually get an awful lot of friction material in such a small space. It just allows them to put it in there. I think 4L60E was one of the first to do it with the aftermarket Z-Pack clutch. And that works really, really well. In no particular order, but that's perfect. That looks brand new again. I'll give you that back.
Yep. So,
All right, what's next?
well, that's good. Let me take that. Just some reaction shells now.
Some hard parts.
Yeah.
These look all good. Is a sprag or a little clutch in there? Or what is it in there?
No, that's just a shaft with a bit of weight in it. It's a,
Like a dampener.
yeah, like a dampener sort of setup. Yeah. Yep.
Big drum, just like tinny here. Perfect. All the splines are like brand new.
That's off the bottom of that one.
Yep, you can have that one
Yeah, I'll get
back.
that one and that one.
They're all perfect. I'm trying to keep this in order so the poor rebuilder, when he gets them, I haven't stripped it into tiny little mean bits all over the place. They've all got good memories, but it's not perfect. Okay,
This is.
just a little circlet,
Yeah, this is where I'm going to slow you down, unfortunately.
or where all the
Hopefully-
oil as it
hopefully not.
clicks and. It's one of these lethal circlips.
Yep.
I'll let Jono in there to have a look. Do time again. How many mechanics does it take to change a light bulb? A lot more than usual.
Yep.
We had the same problem with the Ford Ranger, didn't we?
It's almost identical circuit. Same tool, same design. If you can try and get it this side maybe, because that corner's coming out really good.
Is it?
Yeah.
You have to tell
now
me.
it's doing the bottom. The bottom's popped out. Yep. If you hit that, that's it.
We got him.
Yep.
I'll just need all that first bit out.
Leave it in. The folks need to know that we're not perfect. I am, but yeah, it's what I've got to work with.
Let's agree to disagree.
All right.
There we go.
That's a solid circlet. That's not going anywhere. Look at that. Well, you can catch a bloody fish with that. Get a load of the hook on that thing. All right. How many clutches can you pack into one drum? Got a bit of clearance there. Is that normal for that?
Yeah, that's low reverse. So
Yeah,
I believe that's low reverse.
All right. Put that there. Take them apart. Once again, another one of these clutches that's actually a really good, that's a big clutch pack. Once again, no steels because they're all on the reverse side. One friction runs on the back of the last friction and some frictions have inner teeth, see where the teeth are on the inside, and others, the next one has outer teeth. So that locates in the drum. And as you go through, inner teeth, outer teeth, and it just keeps on going. Just allows them to make the maximum square inch of lining that they can put into that drum. Hope you know how this all goes back together.
Yeah, I'll work on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Bushes look good. Reverse, drum, looks great. Let's check this one out.
Not with a planet, not with a planet.
This one's got the most clearance of all, but I dare say. This one's traditional. We'll turn it around, but yeah, you got friction, and then you can see the steel. Friction, steel, friction. They're all perfect. There is nothing in these clutches that has caused our problem. Although that one did have a little bit more clearance than what I would have expected, but it's not 70,000 Ks old.
There. You can.
Oh, we ready to take the next bit?
Yeah, next bit will just come straight out. That rear planetary.
Alright.
Yep.
Alright. So this is the output shaft. That's where the park pull. What if everybody's ever seen that? You know when you say you put it into park, there's a little claw that basically latches on in between these little sections, and that's actually how your park works. Just locks into there.
It's that one there if you want to see it.
Yeah, in there somewhere.
That.
That's how it works. Twin annulus. 2 sets of gears. They all look perfect. No big build up in there. I won't take that apart. There's no need to take that apart just yet. Planetary. This is another. Geez, when they do build these trader utes, and we found that the Ford Ranger was the same. When I picked it up, I was actually quite surprised that the weight, solid, big gears. I would have said, if anything, the Ford Ranger gears probably a little bit bigger.
Yeah. Yep.
All right,
Yep.
than these ones. The spline's a little bit smaller in this one. The bearings doesn't really make much of a difference, but still a big hefty unit. Something that back in the day was bigger than what you would have seen. like the Ford Ranger one, I'd put it up there with the Turbo 400. Yeah. Some of the old big 3-speed, the solid stuff that used to use for racing and everything like that. And you know what, a lot of the times, it's not the internals that are the problem. It's the valves, the bores and everything. All right, we've got this part apart. There is nothing untoward here. We'd actually test this vehicle, took it for a road test. All three of us were actually in the car. We got the shudder to happen. We'll pop that up now just so you can see exactly what we were seeing and why we knew that there was a problem and why we're looking for what we're looking. There's very few valve, and there's only about, what, 3 valves on these things? From memory, or is there none?
A few more than that. It's been a while since I've had one apart. You can look at the end of it and see if you...
Oh, the other end?
1, 2, 3 on that side.
Yeah, another, 2.
Yeah.
A couple underneath, but most of them, the most consistent ones are in the pump. So, why don't we go in and see if we can find the cause in here. I'll wave it around enough, I'll get oil absolutely everywhere. You know? This is the pump from off the rebuild bench. Trev's going to give me a hand here. There's one valve in particular that we're actually very, very sus on. And we're going to go straight to that valve to see how we go. We have a vacuum pump set up here. You can do it. Yep. I've never actually done this part before. I'll let Trev show us
that pump's on.
What we're doing. So we're actually blocking one of the ports and we create a vacuum. And then we can see the result. What do we got? Yep.
There.
What's that? -3, -4. Now that's way off the mark. Right? That is so far off the mark that I think what we might do, and there's only one way to really do this and do this, want to show you actually exactly how it happened. Let's pull that valve out.
Yeah.
We'll see what we've got. And we're going to stick a standard brand new valve in, just a standard one, and see what reaction we got. And then we're going to tell you why we're not even going to use that brand new valve. Pull that out. Oh no, give us a look at that. Oh, you ever seen, look at the wear marks in it. That's not supposed, see all the shiny there? I don't know if you can see it good enough in the camera, but this is actually an anodized, and I can actually feel the big reds. That valve is absolutely flogged out. Well, that'll explain the loss, but what we're going to do, I've got a brand new one here. That's what they look like when they're nice and shiny and new. We're going to whack that in and just do the same test. We won't have to put the whole valve in, just put that one in. Yep. It's a vacuum, it'll just suck the valve in. Line him up.
That's it. She's home.
Show us what we get. What's that? It's 28. That is just a huge difference. All right, that proves the point. All right, we'll turn that pump off.
Yep. Noisy.
Now, that just shows you how bad this was. That this one was about what, -3. So this is what we're doing. Is just creating a vacuum, and the vacuum is just sucking air past the landings, or the landing channels, which both the valve body and the pump has, and we just see the efficiency of it. A brand new valve, unmodified. If I can get it out, no, I'll let you get it out. A brand new valve in there made that much of a difference, and you think, well, you've solved the problem. No, we haven't. The problem is this valve is going to do exactly the same. Remember, this valve's only 70,000 k's old, although they do vary, right? But that's a brand new valve. So what are we going to do? We're actually going to change all of these valves, not just the one. We are going to put a new boost valve in, new boost pressure spring, a mains. This is actually a main pressure reg spring, which is actually the updated one from this one. Now you will notice that there's many differences, longer landings and everything. There's just, it's so different. But so why aren't we going to use the new one? That's easy. This is actually a modified valve. Whoops, sorry. This is actually a modified valve, right? And the way it does it is that it makes sure that this actually never happens again. So what it does, it actually feeds pressure from a different chamber up the center and out the hole here. So not only is it trying to create a thing, it's actually taking pressure from somewhere else in the transmission and actually feeding it up to make sure that not only is that torque converter going, well, the lockup going to get enough pressure, but also, doesn't matter what happens to this valve, it's never going to happen again. Longer landings to make sure. This is actually, most of this wear on this is due to the fact it's all running on a tiny little landing. This one, look how long they are. They're over double the size, you know, before and after. Look at them, there's huge difference. But not only that, we're not just changing those valves, we're also changing the clutch select valve. We've got two brand new clutch select valves with new springs and the end caps. You get these end caps, they've actually got O-rings on them. They just make sure that there's no pressure release that's lost, mainly when the oil is very hot. It gets thinner as it gets hot. And also over time, seals go hard and everything like that. You want to make sure, landing, so we want to make sure of that. We've also, this one, the TCC, oh no, this one, TCC valve. And another thing that happens is commonly these springs break. So this is actually an aftermarket spring and an aftermarket modified valve to make sure that that spring never breaks again. So there's a couple of reasons as to why you get a lock-up shutter. It's not always this valve. Oh, where is it? The worn one. It's not always this valve. We know of about 2 or 3 different causes, but this is the go-to one. What happens? What that valve actually causes, and if you haven't seen inside a torque converter, get it apart. Yeah. So this is inside. Now this is actually a Colorado 2.8 litre torque converter. So we'll take it apart. So this one's already been taken out. This is not the one that came out of the car yesterday. Oh, bearing's fallen off. This is one that we actually had. And the reason why we chose this one is because we needed to show you exactly what happens. Now Trevor will show me here. Here we go. Now, what's wrong with that picture, Trev?
It's supposed to have a bit of a lining on it. It's like a brake lining.
It's supposed to have a big lining all the way around it, and it's certainly not to be picked up. Like that thing has run, it's like running brakes, metal to metal, for a very, very long time, considering this is actually submerged in oil, and it still happens that bad. Yeah. Right? So this is what happens to your torque converter. A lot of people, they change the torque converter, but guess what? They leave the valve in, or they leave another one of these problems. There's no good just slamming new torque converters into a Colorado that's got a shutter problem. It's just going to happen again. It doesn't matter what you do. Either one, a brand new box, therefore you get a brand new valve, and hopefully it doesn't happen to you again after 70 or 80,000 Ks. Or what we do, we turn around, we upgrade the entire transmission, we put all these updated valves in it, we do a billet heavy duty torque converter for them, which is actually a triple lining. So instead of having one clutch lining, it's actually got 3. We do all the updated valves and everything like that. We also put deep cast aluminium pan on them. Next thing, always make sure you put a cooler on. All right, the cooler just helps the valves just not get so hot. They become less malleable. So you want to try and cooler the better. I think, is there any questions we haven't actually answered? I think we've covered the lot.
No, it's pretty straightforward.
So we're showing you the lockup, the lining, the leak. There's a colossal leak in this case. We do get them at various. Some of them are more minor. Some of them drive them until they look like this poor torque converter here. These can be fixed. There is no correct answer. It's not just a torque converter. It's not just that one valve there. It can be a broken spring. It can be a couple of things. To do it properly, you need to do all of them. Do it once, do it right. Please like, subscribe. We'll catch you next time.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society.